Representative Daudt, what was the rules fight all about in your mind?
Well, it was about transparency. They're talking a lot of good in the first day, but the problem is the first thing out of the chute, their actions don't match their words. So we just want to give Minnesotans a fighting chance to participate in the legislative process, and unfortunately, Democrats have taken that away today.
So they say it wasn't a lot different than what used to be done. Is it a lot different?
It's not a lot different from what used to be done when they ran things, but the problem is, and you heard it, I gave Winkler an opportunity to just promise Minnesotans a 3-day notice, then a 2-day notice, then a 1-day notice. He refused to say he would give them any notice as to when a bill was coming up in committee. And we have to respect that Minnesotans have jobs and they drive in from some distances sometimes. We want to make sure that people can participate in the legislative process. This is the people's house.
They're releasing what they're calling the Minnesota Values Plan tomorrow. Do you expect that their values will line up with your values?
I don't expect that. I'm pretty proud of the fact that we reduced Minnesotans' taxes, we grew their paychecks, and we reduced the cost of health insurance in the state of Minnesota over the last 2 years, and those are exactly the things that we're going to be focused on this session. Republicans in the Minnesota House are going to continue to work to reduce the cost of health insurance. We're going to work to reduce taxes on Minnesotans, and we're going to work to increase their paychecks.
The Speaker just said there is no urgency on tax conformity. Do you agree for this particular tax year?
Actually, I think Minnesotans deserve to have some certainty when they're filing their taxes. I think this is long overdue. I think the governor should have signed the bill last year. But the reality is Democrats don't want Minnesotans to have tax relief. They don't want Minnesotans to have more money in their pocket. They want to keep that money and spend it. And I think that's the wrong approach for Minnesotans.
But is it too late in this tax year to make any difference anyway, even if you passed it today?
I hope that when we pass it, whenever we pass it, that we make it retroactive. And if it means that Minnesotans have to file an amendment to get the money they deserve, I hope that we do that. Because I think Minnesotans deserve to get to keep more of their paycheck. They deserve to feel the full benefits of the federal tax relief that passed last year.
Are you spoiling for a fight this year? You seem like really amped up on day one.
Did you forget what it was like to have me on the floor? I got 4 years worth of speeches bottled up in me. No, we're not. I am committed to working with Democrats or against Democrats, but for Minnesotans. And if they want to reduce healthcare costs, if they want to put more money in Minnesotans' pockets, whether it be through tax relief or their paychecks, I will be right there with them. But when they break their promises to Minnesotans, I will be here to hold them accountable. And I think they shouldn't expect anything less than that.
There have been a lot of gun protesters here today. What's the Republican stance on that? Has that not changed? You don't think much needs to be done?
Excuse me. Minnesota has a rich tradition of gun ownership. We want to make sure that we keep the hands out of we want to make sure that we keep the guns out of the hands of dangerous criminals. But we want to make sure that Minnesotans have access to guns and ownership of guns to participate in the sporting activities, which are a rich tradition here in Minnesota. And we're gonna fight to protect Minnesotans' rights to do that. But we also want to make sure Minnesotans are safe.
What about red flag legislation? Would you be willing to consider something like that?
I'm going to wait and see what they bring forward, but anything that we do here in the state of Minnesota needs due process, and I think that's been the big problem with those sorts of things in the past. Taking somebody's possession away without due process, whether it be a gun or their car or their home or anything that a Minnesotan owns, our Constitution gives them the right to have due process, and we're going to protect that right.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you all.